Listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Jerod Zavistoski, and you're listening to and watching Modern Male Radio. This is all the stuff your mama should have told you and the stuff your daddy never knew. And joining me tonight, as always, my co-host, Sarah Chapman.
Hi, if my name was Jerod Zavistoski, I might be hosting this shit. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, at some point we are going to change the intro to include Sarah. She's been here long enough. I think she's paid her dues.
Oh, I paid my dues.
Yeah, we're going to get you a little, because they're redoing the website. Finally, we actually get the website redone so it doesn't look the way it looks. And we're going to get Sarah's picture on that so I can actually start getting some male listeners. And and
guys.
then
Hi.
We're going to put Sarah, in the theme song so we can hear that deep, dark,
Whoa.
throaty voice.
Whoa.
Just be like, "Welcome to Modern Male Radio."
Deep, dark, and throaty. That sounds like the last show. Sorry, Mom. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that show. I have to apologize for to our listeners and viewers out there.
Respectable of you.
Modern Male Radio usually, sometimes we sway a little bit. There's definitely some swerves in the road. We've hit some potholes.
There were butt plugs.
But we ran into a wall on that show. It's still a funny show. I love it, and thanks for our guests for being on the show. It was great. But Modern Male Radio, definitely, we follow a very, very core rhetoric here, and
We're going to redeem it tonight.
yeah, we're gonna
to
redeem it tonight. So we actually brought you can intro the
I'd love
guests.
to intro our guests.
Go for it.
Comedian and self-help guru Kyle Cease.
Oh, Jesus, that's what you
Did
call
I
me?
get it? I don't know. I was just kind of driving here in the car, and that's what we
Self-help
came.
guru?
That's what we
Well,
came up with.
what is it? Self-help comedian?
God. I am so not a guru.
Blame him.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I'll tell you the difference in a bit. But I'd say transformational speaker and stand-up comic.
Transformational speaker and stand-up comic Kyle Cease.
All of the subgenres slash
Author too.
And
Say
an
that.
author.
An author.
And
An
author.
actor.
And
What if I just
actor.
kept going?
Just keep going.
Slash,
I got
slash,
it.
Try to go to her and I'm just like
It's like
very
a steel
attractive.
trap. We'll do it.
CrossFit.
It's
But I mean,
actually it's my fault. I didn't ask first.
It's the LA way. Everybody's got a slash, slash, slash.
And hopefully I get this one right. Relationship expert Tyffanee Smith.
What if you said you go and relationship expert / murderer? And she's like, what are you talking about? Where are you guys getting her credit?
Butchered the name. Your name is thankfully very easy. So thank you for that.
Not the spelling though.
Oh no.
The spelling's quite difficult.
How can you misspell Smith?
Well, the first name.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's an interesting spelling, but I got it right up on the screen. It should be up there, right above your head.
Yeah,
What is
somewhere.
this? Get off me.
Subscribe.
Cool. So, Tyffanee, you went to Brown University, right?
You studied there for a minute. You
Okay.
went to.
Well, I was
Get
like,
used
should
to
I
it.
say it or should I let her say
no,
it?
No, that's fine.
I had a little lapse in judgment there. Sometimes I do that. People think that I'm stupid because I'll walk up and I'm like, and I'm like, it just dawned on me that there was a smarter way to do it, and I'm already in motion. Like I'm already about to say the thing, and I'm like, oh, you should have said it that way. And I'm like, and I'm, trying to break, kind of skitter off to the side. So, so you're a relationship expert. Explain that.
Yes, I went to Brown University, and I studied sex therapy, psychology, and all of that. And I actually worked for a company, counseling couples, and if they wanted to try new things or
New things.
What kind of new things?
Maybe the things on the last show.
Yeah.
Probably.
yes,
I don't know.
actually, I had to
I didn't
consult
see the last show, but I wanted
two
to.
people on that one.
Yeah, now everybody's going to go watch the last show.
You're
Curious on that
welcome.
one too.
Even though
What's
I didn't
that?
I want
promote
to see
it.
that one too, actually.
You did?
I said I want to.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
It's epically that.
Sorry, Mom.
That's it.
Sorry, Mom.
Don't be sorry.
No,
own
you
it.
No, I do own it. I think it was great. It was just we veered a little off, and I feel like there are a lot of fans that are going to be mad at some point about that show.
No,
or
this is redemption
What if the
right
next
here.
show is you
The
guys
best shows.
pointing out this one? Like that. What if
know
every
what?
episode is you guys talking about what
You're
you
yeah,
just
what a
gonna have-
horrible show the last one
Yeah.
was.
You're just gonna have to tune in. Find
You're like,
out.
they
That was
shouldn't have
so-
brought up the one before. Like every
was so
episode is just
crazy.
you.
That'd be great. And
Fixing.
yeah, it'd make people watch more
Hey,
of the
thanks
show.
for
It's
that.
you
I'm
living
gonna
the
take
way
that
most people
one.
live, where they're just always fixing
that down.
yesterday when it was never broken in the first place.
So explain that.
That
'cause-
one was broken. Sorry, that one was broken.
Because you got some, so I watched some of your videos. I've seen you on YouTube, and it was very serendipitous that you're even on the show tonight, because I actually called up Brian Reeves. Shout out to Brian Reeves. He's an amazing dating expert, man coach. He does male transformational coaching. We've had him on the show in the very, very beginning of the video part of the show. And you two are very close friends. Mm-hmm. And I saw your video on Facebook, and like I sent you an email. I was like, I gotta get this guy on the show. And then I invited Brian to do this show, and he wasn't available. And I forget, but like I don't know how in the world I put two and two together, because my memory sucks. Like my memory is like I walk into a room and forget why I'm there. And I ended up like
this is what he tells
Kyle
girls on the first
Kyle
date.
sees. Why does that sound so familiar? And it turns out that like Brian was trying to already get you on the show last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like, dude, you got to get my roommate.
Yeah,
you got to get my
this
roommate.
Is familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he probably told you about me. See? That's what's up.
He
That's what's
already
up.
told me.
Oh, dear.
We apologize for last year when he didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the theme of.
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry about the other. Sorry about the first few minutes.
Well, Brian might have been a little rattled, because we definitely harassed him about his bright yellow parka that he wore, or he wore this fleece sweater on the show, and we definitely harassed him a little bit about it. Because it's Modern Male Radio.
It wasn't modern enough. It was like Paddington Bear or something.
A little, yeah.
Paddington Bear.
It was close.
Okay.
It was very close. It was, yeah.
Picture that, because Brian and I, when we talk, it's so profound. Like, it really is so fun, and we always dig into what our truth is and what the thing is. And I just love the idea of him coming in here ready to go. And you're like, yellow coat? And he's just like, yeah, it's
Going
yellow.
to Seattle.
Anyway, here's how to survive in your soul. And you're like, yeah, but it's a fun parka. It's like, right.
We didn't mention it on the show. I
thought it was on the air.
No. I mentioned it. I said my mom sent my mom actually was the one who mentioned it. She's the one. She sent
Hi,
me.
Jared's mom.
Hi, Mom. She sent me a text during the show, and she was like, "Oh my God, that guy's yellow jacket or whatever." She was like, "Tell him never to wear that again." Yeah, that's my mom.
I don't know how long she waves, so I'm just keeping my
He's
hand
just
up.
waving.
Yeah, just keep waving. Just keep
All
waving.
show long. I know.
So, so this is a show on
Nice to
dating,
meet you.
self-development, male personal edification, and I'm really, really curious what you guys would have to weigh in on that. Like, what do you think are the biggest problems in society right now with males, and what would you? Yeah, go, come on. I mean,
You want me to start?
You want to go first?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I think that's interesting is that first of all, we're always trying to fix on the level of like what we're saying is male or female or dating or not, or like how do I be a better husband or father or Christian or atheist or whatever. And I think already we're getting labels in that we don't need. Like the biggest thing we need to do is connect to ourselves. And I know that sounds like a really vague thing, but it really is a real thing. And to give you an example, like I've discovered for myself that every time I'm about to do something, if it feels heavy, like in other words, we're used to living in a world where we just do things that feel heavy because we think we need to, like staying in a job we hate because it pays the bills.
Or
so
like going to the gym and lifting weights.
Or staying
There
in a
we go.
relationship.
That feels
that you're
heavy.
not
I'm
happy in.
giving it just,
But what I
another
mean
box.
is like when you stay in a relationship you
That
don't
you're
want
not
to be
happy
in,
in,
hold on
exactly.
to it. We only hold on to those things because our mind, when we're going to let go of it, can only measure what you will lose, but it can never measure what you will gain. Mm-hmm. So our mind tricks us every time, like you're about to get out of a bad relationship, for instance, and your mind is sad because it's focused on the loss of one person versus the gain of 7 billion people if you're bisexual and willing to date anybody. and almost everybody is holding on to this thing. And what they don't understand is there was literally a feeling, like I believe we have two voices in us. There's a first voice that goes, we should leave this company. And it feels good. Mm-hmm. And that feeling is a preview. It's going, when you do this, you'll always feel this. But then there's a second voice that we learned from society about why we can't. And it'll give you the stupidest reason, and for some reason we listen to it. Like the first voice will go, we should leave this company. And the second voice that's just here, you don't feel it here, you feel it here. It goes, yeah, but if we do, we can't go to the Cheesecake Factory party next Thursday.
Right.
But the first voice can't tell you this, but it's like, if you learn to listen to me, you'll own all the Cheesecake Factories in a month, and if you want, you can make them vegan, whatever you want to do. Because the first voice is always right. And what I've discovered is, for me, when I listen to that first voice, that the feeling voice, mm-hmm. that every single ounce of my life changes. I have my career, my happiness, my relationships with myself and other people, my income, everything has massively shifted just based on, because when you want to do something and you don't do it, you're actually living in an argument with yourself. And we live in a society that's just the norm, and that's the only way to get us to buy stuff that we don't need. In other words, alcohol puts you in the moment, right? Because you're buzzed and you feel this thing,
true.
you get in the moment.
He looks at the table. Who's got alcohol? I do. Red Bull.
But
right here.
addictions get you in the
So
moment,
jealous.
and you only need to get in the moment because you're so busy living in the past and future because you're suffering. But if you comprehended that you just are the moment, that those things would actually contrast you.
That's really interesting.
And contract you. I mean, yeah. So
the first voice is very liberated, and the second voice is very despairing.
it's very, and
I'm going to quit my job, and then it's like, no, I'm going to be jobless.
And you know what's really weird in this society is when I say that too, everyone gets caught in the labels again, and they go, well, that's God, or it's the universe, or it's your instinct. You should be able to hear that whether you're Christian, atheist, whatever you are, and understand it. You are in your head when you're arguing over what it is, versus just connect to the damn thing.
Right.
And go back to your childlike state of just absolutely playing and creating.
That's why people like booze, because it makes you a child again.
Right.
And it puts you in the moment. So basically what you're saying is that alcohol brings you closer to
To God.
to God.
Your true self.
No, that's but my bigger point is that you have an addiction because you're living in a denial of what you want to do, and that pain is so bad that you need something to balance yourself out. But if you did the thing you just freaking wanted to do, you wouldn't have to have the addiction.
Or sublimation, or whatever you want to put a label on that. Put that in the box, and
Right.
you know.
It's surreal to me to watch this world of people that don't remember that when you were kids, all we did was played. We weren't caring what our ex was doing. We weren't, trying to figure out all the stuff. We weren't, scrolling through Facebook wondering who likes us and thinking that matters. You're just playing, and then society turns you into a consumer.
6-year-olds
And
today
the
are
news-
screwed
the
for
news,
that.
Well, the news
They're all
scares the
scrolling.
crap out of you,
That's true.
and then they run Prozac commercials. Do you know how not scared of flying we would be if they showed us the 30,000 flights a day that made it?
Yeah.
Like if every single time a plane lands, they interrupted whatever crappy show you're watching and interviewed every person as they're getting off the plane, you'd be like, I think I want to try flying.
Yeah.
And they're like, coming up, a family that wasn't murdered. Like you'd be like, oh, even murderers would be like, well, if no one else is killing people, why should I? I should fix the economy. But they don't do that.
We're
I
still
doubt they would,
fear-based
though.
because
It's the norm to live in fear because there's a lot of money to be made, and us not knowing how unbelievable we actually are.
Yes.
And what I do is I live right on the edge of that, and I've gotten to have 2 #1 Comedy Central specials, and then at the height of my career completely leave it and do this thing that hasn't really been done the way that I'm doing it, and it's becoming so massive and expansive, but it's a byproduct of my connection to myself. It's not like I'm doing that out there. It's like I'm going, okay, what do I feel like doing, and listening to it, and then there's always this thing where I'm feeling fulfilled.
Which says a lot about how we feel and what we're doing, because we've got this comedy project that we're working on, and it's really, I mean, it goes over the line. It races the line. We like the line on fire.
is there a line?
I don't know.
That's the best question.
best thing to
People always
do.
go, I think out of the box. I'm like, why have a box?
Exactly.
The only line
Yeah,
that
what
I
is the
see-
box?
Seriously,
Yeah.
seriously though,
Science
the
box,
only
that's
line
it.
that I see in our comedy project is the one that I'm continually chopping on Premiere.
Yeah.
Continually making a line, editing this comedy project. Other than that, there are no lines. There are no boundaries. It's whatever we create.
And when you create it, if you ask yourself, what would be funny to me versus what will sell?
Yeah.
That's what I always question back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
To
The
him,
big
to
mistake
myself.
everyone goes is what will sell, so they stay safe. But
Yes.
like Family Guy has those moments where like, what if Peter fights a chicken for 5
Exactly.
minutes?
Exactly.
And then your mind goes, you can't do that. That means you
Right.
have to. You have an original, amazing, out of the bounds.
I found
love
myself
that
at
show, by
first
the
feeling
way.
like I was compromising and sacrificing, but then now it's like, no, you just have to throw all that out because
Yeah.
that is the box right there in and of itself.
And it was very strange because it broke the rhetoric of what I was doing with Modern Male Radio. I mean, we've been doing this show for a year. It's been very, 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 and slowly but surely it's kind of widened up. And then you're right, with that, where you start to feel it. And when we did Match Comedy, we kind of sat down, and it was just like, it was like blood was put in the water, and all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. I can't, I have to break out of this. I have to do this. And Sarah could actually bear witness to this, because in the beginning, right when we started doing that, I loved it so much, and I felt that pull. And then I felt that exact thing, and I was like, well, you can't leave this radio show behind. You can't, and I sat there for like a month and tried to figure out how I could individually brand all these different things that I was trying to do and how they would work. And finally, it was just like, fuck it. And we couldn't help it. So it's interesting because I just experienced what you're talking about.
Yeah, and with the second okay, so here's a great example of an experience that I went through that has changed everything. Okay. So last February, we were doing these events where I do these 2-day immersive events called Evolving Out Loud, where I show up and I speak for 10 hours a day, and I have nothing planned at all.
Okay.
How much water do you have to drink to speak for 10 hours a day?
It actually,
Seriously,
it's 72 ounces per. I'm just kidding.
You actually every
been
30
hilarious.
seconds,
And now
just take a
people,
sip.
but what's funny is people go, how do you do that? And I go, the same me that is you that shows up in a restaurant and you don't have a set list. If you had planned out your conversation when you go to a restaurant with your friend, it would be really hard. But instead you just start and you start talking and you stay in the room and content will show up. But most people are busy trying to plan and make it good so that people will like you, because we've moved to a position of thinking who we are is what people think of us versus what we love and what we think of them.
Or what's expected of us, because we went through this structurally with our project.
Yeah.
We have to have a script. We have to have
That
these
is
guidelines.
but you
we
don't.
No, we
the
don't.
best things I've ever shot ever were like, it feels good, shoot it
That's
now.
what we've been
We'll
doing.
figure out the how while we shoot it. We're doing
Yeah.
a sketch right now where I'm a life coach for ghosts. And it's so
love
damn
that.
funny.
That's
And my
cute.
team is out of nowhere figuring out how to do green screen and CGI ghosts into these shots. And it's looking like an HBO crew made this thing. And it'll
Wow.
be out in 2 days. And it's so
Congratulations.
funny and it's so good.
Yeah,
But
congrats.
we just said, what if we did that? We were sitting in a restaurant. We said, what if we did that? And we ran home and shot it.
Yeah.
And you can't make anything this good with planning.
Yeah, we did the
the
exact
good
same thing.
feeling.
Just like I didn't plan this microphone not being screwed
Yeah,
in
right?
tight. It's like
Part of
down
the
here.
With
show.
when we did Match Comedy, we did it in 2 weeks. We were pretty inebriated, and yeah, it just came out. It was like,
As you
well,
should
let's
be.
just shoot, and we
Great.
shot and edited it together. And
Yeah.
what came out of it was it's been very, very well received by anybody who's gotten to see it.
When you
I
move
missed
by
that one
your
too.
Yo,
excitement.
welcome.
So what do you think about all this, Tyffanee?
I completely agree with him, but I think like people aren't honest with what they want, and that's the problem with relationships, where exactly if you just concentrate on what you actually want in a relationship instead of going for what society wants you to have, or your family, or
what you think the other person wants,
exactly.
or
And I
thinks that you
think
should
it'd
be.
be more happier, less divorce, more like good relationships. But people are more focused on other things like, oh, does he have money with the girls, or
Right.
like instead of like, or another girl, like, oh, does he have a big penis? Like, it's like
And the
if
answer
that's
is
what
yes.
you really want, if that's what you want, then
That I
get that.
do,
Don't like settle
but-
for a guy.
Hi,
just
Tyrone.
because
It's very big. It's a
It's
huge
huge.
dip. Yeah.
Is it? Just
Has it,
good to know.
has it taken lives?
Yo, my penis is actually taking
There it is.
lives.
There it is. There's Tyrone.
That's a tagline. That's one of our lines from the from the skit, the show that we're doing.
I've
Yeah.
come up with an analogy, by the way. I just want to say, because I know I've had girlfriends in the past say they wanted to know what it's like to have one. And
Hi.
this is the best analogy ever. If you've ever had a hairdryer and you're in a hotel, if you've ever you don't
Those
know,
are terrible.
Well, hold on. When you're holding the hairdryer but you can't find the outlet on the wall.
Yes.
Imagine if you were stuck holding that hairdryer 24 hours a day and you could never find the outlet. That's the answer to your question, what's it like to have a dick? Because we're stuck with the thing. If we could detach it, we would leave you alone in bars.
Okay. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I'm trying to.
That
put the
one
pieces
lost
of that
me.
one
I don't.
together.
Yeah, I'm like, wait
I'm
a minute.
like,
What do you mean?
Have you ever had it where you have?
Is
you're
it
in
a Con Air?
hotel-
Is it a 1600,
Yeah.
an 1875? What am I working
So
with
how
here?
does that compare
I'll find
to
the outlet.
penis?
Because if you've ever been in a hotel and you
Okay.
have a hairdryer,
Okay.
and you're trying to find the outlet
Okay.
to plug it into.
Oh, so you're just constantly looking for vagina. Is that
Right.
what you're trying to say? Okay.
And
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and for married guys, the equivalent would be having 50 plugs around you all the time that you're never allowed to use at all. And then
See, I
somebody
don't like
breaks
when
down.
people say that about
Yeah.
like marriage or relation. I think that scares
It's an old
people
comedy bit of mine.
off of like the old ball and chain, or like, I'm on lockdown. I hate when people do that with relationships, because if you're not in a happy relationship, then get out of it.
Bye,
you said.
Felicia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Time
it's
to
not
move
like,
on.
if you feel like someone's a ball and chain or weight, then that's not a good relationship.
Yeah,
And a
unless you're
lot
at
of
the
those
gym. You
relationships
want that.
start
I don't know.
on a bad premise. You know,
Yeah.
the guy realizes that he thinks that he can never be something, or he can never be greater in himself, so he never puts any work in there. He puts all his work into his professional life, and then women think, oh well, that's security.
Yeah.
So and then they end up in this messed up relationship, and it's like, well, the premises that you got into the relationship were messed up anyways.
You
Just
know,
I completely agree with that.
Well,
Go
I
for
just
it.
want to say, based on what you said too, I think that one premise that is obviously the truth and is never ever exercised is that I really believe that love is here to liberate people. It's not here to bind and say, I love you, here's all the things you can't do.
Exactly.
And so many people, they made movies and
Here's
these
the
things
list,
where
Santa.
they say, when a movie says you complete me, you're saying I'm incomplete without this person.
I
Right.
wrote something,
Right.
a really good thing on that. Like,
Wow, that's awesome.
Never mind.
And
But go on.
I just believe so much that when you love someone, you want them happy no matter what route they need to get there. And I believe that so much, there's a part of me that's going, I'm just going to be a space of love for whoever the person is. And I know there will be a person that can match that.
I think he
But-
read my OkCupid account.
You know, it's
He's
possible.
literally,
Oh, yeah, you look-
he's
we've been winking at each
literally
other.
just
But way to make
read everything I
conditions
wrote.
on love to say that you complete me. So there it is.
Right.
Without
It
you,
shouldn't be
I'm
complete.
incomplete.
Well, that's
It
and
just
should
there's
be
the
you
norm in our
enhance me.
society,
You
but-
don't complete me because I can live without you.
Well,
but
how do you end up yelling at someone that you supposedly love all the time? Like
That's
so
true.
much of domestic violence and all the stuff is
Shut up! No.
just people yelling at people.
Oh, well, we love
that
each
they
other, so we
supposedly
fight
love.
until the cops
No, I
come.
don't get
That
that.
makes
So
sense.
that's only control.
Yeah.
But it's the norm in our society. So we've been, imprinted that we have to be in this thing.
exactly.
that
Because if you're
way.
going to have a one-night stand with someone, the cops don't show up usually because you're having fun. But if you
Right.
love someone, 9 out of 10
Yeah.
times.
I just don't think
Oh,
it's
the
love.
cops came because you guys had a huge fight, a huge blowout.
Yeah.
No,
And I
that's
think
not. That's
when
not.
people are looking for someone to complete them instead of completing themselves, and that's why I say people are like relationships are 50-50. I'm like, no, it's 100-100. You bring 100 of you, I bring 100 of me,
Yeah.
and you live your life, I live my life, but we come together and enjoy each other. It's not like, oh, I have to hang out with the girlfriend or I have to hang out with the boyfriend. You don't want that burden on there. So
Right.
But the thing with that is then you almost don't want one if you're trying to get one.
exactly.
because you're saying that'll complete me, and you're moving from the level of I will be fulfilled by you. If you think that person is what makes you happy, you're dependent on them. So you're going to do everything you can to make sure they don't go cheat. They don't, go have lunch with that other person. You're going to hold on to them way too tight because you think they are your God, your source of
But
happiness.
that's not how
your
you hold
heir.
on to someone. To
Right.
hold on to someone in that nature would be just be your complete best self. To where if they did have that lunch with that person, guess what? You're fucking up because I'm a 10 in
Yeah.
every category. When I say 10, not just like looks wise, like in every little
Yeah.
graduated cylinder, it's like, oh, I'm a great catch because of this, that, and other thing. Not just like, oh, I look good. And
Right.
most girls do that here in LA. They think like, oh, they could be, just because they look good, they deserve like a guy that's a 10 in every way. And vice versa too. Guys do it too, where they're like, oh, I have no patience. I don't have like this and this, but I deserve a girl that's a 10. She has to be patient with me. She has to do, and it's like, no, you don't deserve that. Go work on the other cylinders that you're missing. And then guess what? You'll attract
You'll
that
attract.
too.
You'll attract that.
Because
Yeah.
why do you think you deserve a 10 if you're 5?
Yeah.
The higher the alignment that you connect with yourself too, the more you can spot someone that is either a people pleaser or says that you complete me or thinks, and it's just so annoying and it feels like a burden right
Yeah,
away.
definitely.
So if you're coming out being something to get someone, the people pleaser really can only attract the polarity of that, which is takers.
Yes.
If you're in your alignment and someone comes up to you and they're like, huh, do you want to hang out? You're not going to want to hang with them. And
But
you
two,
can
you're
see-
already selling yourself short. You're already taking from yourself, so you're going to attract the taker
right.
by having that mentality.
Right. And when you're coming and doing this thing like, do you like me? You're coming from fear. People that are in a place where if you close your heart off, like I really believe there's a thing here where you're in the moment, you have your heart open. People are scared to do that because they're trying to protect themselves, but they don't understand. An open heart is so much more protective of you than a closed heart. Because if
Completely
you go
agree.
like this, you'll just also align up with someone else whose heart is
Yes.
also
Yeah.
closed
Yes.
off.
Absolutely.
And so if your heart's wide open, you can sense everyone who's full of crap and you just immediately don't accept them into your life. And you go,
My whole mantra, I try to write it in everything that I like post, and because I give some advice, but it's grow better, not bitter. So, and a lot of people in relationships and like, whether it's not even just relationship, but like life stuff, if something negative happens, like he said, you get all closed off and you become like a bitter person to where you're like, oh, that happened last time, so I hate you, I hate all men, or I hate all women. It's like, no, find out what you did wrong in the situation as
Yes.
well.
And
I
fix
te-
it.
Exactly. I tend to do that
Yeah.
when I leave a relationship. Obviously, at first, I'm like, it's all your fault. But then I take myself out and it's like, okay, look at it as a third person
Hover
with
above
no
it.
exactly with no
Objective.
judgment, to where you're like, okay, what did I do wrong? Why did he cheat on me, or what did I do to cause that?
I think it's
Like,
really hard for
so-
people to understand the difference between love and attachment. I mean,
That's true.
attraction, we can talk about that all day long. If you're
Definitely.
either attracted or not, but love and attachment is it's a good one.
Well,
to
and
bring up
another thing that you were
publicly.
saying, like, figure out what I did wrong. I mean, that's kind of subjective, because at the same time, you can stand out, and I do this. You know, stand out and be like, what did I do wrong? Where did I? But then you're also, you know, there's another person in the equation, and what you did may or may not be wrong. It just may be wrong for that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then it goes back to what Kyle's saying, where it's like, don't worry about that other person. Just do you to the best of your
But
All
it
of
goes
the
to what I was
options.
saying too, though, to where even if you say, what did I do wrong? Even if it's wrong for that person, now you know the red flags for that. To where now, instead of doing that and closing yourself off, like he said, you fix yourself. You like, okay, next time I'm.
And
I'm
or
not gonna
was
do
that even wrong?
exactly.
Was that person even wrong? Do you even feel like you were in the wrong just because it didn't work out with that person?
And who's to
It
say
depends on
that
the
person
situation.
cheating on you wasn't the right thing that was supposed to
Exactly.
happen too?
Exactly.
Like maybe the other thing is that was like clear leverage for you to go, okay, what in me do I want to become even more? What kind of alignment do I want?
Yeah.
What did this person want to leave from? What like is this is going to sound weird too, but in some ways, and I don't mean it like as an excuse, but it's fascinating to me. Cheating can be a thing in a world that just makes ownership. Like you did that to me. What people decide to do has nothing to do with you. And I believe that if you truly, truly, truly go to a place of love, you will find you might have a ton of people that hate you and cheat on you all the way up there, but they weren't supposed to be with you.
Sure.
And you'll more and more just find someone that aligns with you.
Now, if they
that's-
cheat on you with your twin, you can be a little pissy for a little
And
bit.
if
That's
you-
the
friends.
thing.
But if
Yeah,
you
so
desire
that's-
to be out there and having sex with multiple
You
people, you
should
might
be in a
attract
relationship.
somebody who is like that as well.
Yes.
And that's where you get those
which
couples.
also is
Do you
fine.
think so?
Mhm.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like if you want that, there's going to be people that have that too.
I've
See,
met.
that's what I say though. If that's what you're looking for, just be honest. I think that was
Yeah.
another thing I was gonna say too. Just be honest about
Mm-hmm.
like what you want and who you want. And all
Yeah,
that.
because why is that bad? Because there's this box that says we only
Exactly.
have to be with one person and we can't find multiple lovers and have someone that's okay with that. I have a friend who's got a great relationship, and that's what makes it work because both of them are okay with multiple lovers.
I've had in the time many times where I've wanted to. I'm always about. I unveil all of my truth immediately with every relationship. And I was a comic on the road, so I have a crazy past in my 20s, you know, and just lived city to city. And I talk about it. And anyone that can't handle it, that's fine. But
You
I
throw
just,
out your 52 cards, and if they can't pick them up, then
And if you don't, and
Bye.
this is with everything, like, I mean, just even people like, you know, Martin Luther King and the greatest in the world, their truth is their best friend. Not I will repress my truth to make you happy first, because now you're more important than my freaking truth. But if you live in your truth, you will have people that you thought were your friends start to clear out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you
I
realize
say that
they
all
were
the
not
time.
supposed to be in a relation. And your truth is like this elevator where you just keep going up while people show up and you realize they're phony. And then eventually you have a real relationship with friends, with relationships, with dating, with everything. Because you're in your truth, they're in their truth, and you're loved all the way to your core versus just connecting on what some sports team did.
When you own your truth too, it's like no one can tell you anything about you and you get upset. Like if you own it and you're growing to
Yes.
be better, like no one could ever they could say to you, oh, well, you're fat. Like, yeah, I know, I'm working on it.
I need a shirt that just says like NA, and I don't mean Narcotics Anonymous,
yeah.
just like non-applicable.
But,
like
yeah.
N/, you know.
But if you're a projector, someone reads you and you just go off the hinge like, fuck you. Da, 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 da. Those are projectors and owners. And so I tend
Reactors.
I tend to own my truth too. So you can tell me whatever you want to tell me about myself. I'm like,
And
whatever.
You're
Thank you.
awesome. I love this. This is a fun talk because
Besties.
we only give a crap. Like what you're saying is like we only care. What we don't like about other people is something we don't like about ourselves. All the time. I do this thing at my events where I say, tell me something that you really triggers you and pisses you off. And 50 people will yell when they're late, when they don't make sense, when they're gibberishy, when they whatever. No one says murderer.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they don't know what it's like to murder someone.
Hopefully.
And when Tiger Woods cheated and you know all these people, celebrities cheat, all of America goes batshit, and then they have CNN have a correspondence discussion because they have been thinking about it. It happened to them. They did it to someone, whatever. But meanwhile, there's starvation issues all over the world, and we don't have the panels on CNN discussing that because a lot of America doesn't know what it's like to be starving. In fact, they know what it's like to be full.
I don't think they can.
Yeah,
If people
that's
were-
interesting.
We just want to know what golf club was used to hit that windshield and break it. Was it a 9? Was it a 7? What did they use?
What did they select? Like,
so
what did
petty.
the caddy
It's
say?
seriously so
Well,
petty.
and it's interesting because you know, when you start getting into the new thought movement, laws of attraction and stuff. When I was younger, it's intimidating. In the very, very beginning, like, you know, you're attracted to it. And we talked briefly about The Secret and kind of how that was like a training wheels thing. And you know, it's funny because when you see people who are in that, you know, elevated mindset and they're in alignment and they're moving forward, there's you're either drawn towards them or repelled away from them.
Yeah.
It's a magnetic quality. It's like there's no middle ground. It's positive or negative.
Well, if
and
someone's
not in a
telling
negative
you,
way.
if someone's telling you who you are is just this moment, I believe 100% that I'm not my past at all, and I've a lot of great accomplishments. I'm proud of from them. It has nothing to do with who I am. If you think who you are is your past, then if you're someone who makes $40,000 a year, you will see it as impossible to make $1 million a year, right? Because it's too big of a jump. If you get your just this moment, you're all possibilities, right? So you have to become embodying that. And when you talk about this stuff, it can be a total threat to some people because there are people who they are is, I got the 4 touchdowns in high school. I've created this huge bank account. I'm this person's spouse.
Yeah.
And it's a threat to them because that's all they know. And this is why many huge celebrities become suicidal and depressed and stuff, because they think who I am is this external
up in
thing.
that, yeah.
And then they think, is that all there is? And if you have a lot of abundance coming at you, sometime if you're the number one of the caterpillars, you're going to be horrified to go into the cocoon.
That's true.
Because you have to let go of the attachment to all that stuff before you become a butterfly.
Yeah.
So that's why we lose child stars every week, because they always associate themselves as
They're
who I am.
defining themselves
is
by their
the
career
kid
that
from
they
that
had
show.
that didn't work out, and then
Yeah.
there's nothing that they can move on to.
Right.
Because everyone knows them as so and so on that show, and it's so sad, but
You
it's
know,
true.
it's crazy because this is a dating show. So I
it all
actually
applies.
started writing
does.
5 books, and they were all going to come full circle. So it was modern male, modern female. I wrote one on bipolar because that was something that I struggled with, and then I wrote one called it was Methodology of the Mind, and we were going to be talking about a lot of this stuff. Actually, Thor, one of my good friends, I've had him on some of the past shows.
He's got a set tonight at 11:30 at Avalon. Hi,
Oh,
Thor.
does he? Yeah, hi Thor.
He probably won't be there because
Is he a
we're
stripper?
editing.
No.
He's not a
No.
Wolverine.
That's his real name.
Oh, wow.
It's his real name,
I'll
I'll be
Thor.
there with Captain America and Wolverine.
I-
And
yeah,
E.T. I
yeah,
don't know
right?
which
And
are the
Hawkeye.
Avengers.
He does
But-
have like a superhero name.
Yeah.
We
okay,
we
okay,
actually
cool.
so
It is.
my first delve into this stuff or into any sort of media was actually a little back and forth conversation that me and Thor had, and it was edited together. It's on my page somewhere. It's on my YouTube channel somewhere. But it's called Conversations on Life, and it was very, very much what you're talking about now, that shedding of that stuff, that, you know, the identifying factors throughout your life, like, you know, and you think that's who you are, and it's not who you are.
Right.
Who you are is that little voice that's saying, go towards the light, go towards the fun, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Because there's a part of you that's, and there's kind of an easy way to test this. I'm sure we've all had that moment where you're doing something and you're in the moment and you're just killing it. Like you're so in the moment that you're leaps and bounds of where you thought you could be. Like you're doing stuff that you didn't even know you were capable of, and then all of a sudden you become conscious of you. There's that little thing that goes, oh wait, what am I doing right now?
Right.
And that's the story of your past.
Yeah.
I also used to
I
say
don't
that.
do this.
I'm sorry.
You know.
I used to say that.
No,
I used
you
to say
don't.
that
This
too
is
to
great.
people.
is
Where-
fun.
This is
We're in
bonding
love
right
now.
now. this is in the moment shit right here.
If this was a 5-hour show, it'd be so different.
Wow. Where would we even be? We'd be in Vegas by now.
Yeah.
Maybe, possibly.
No, but I used to say that to people, like when you're a child and you go outside and play, like you were saying earlier. Like my cousin and I, we used to do the craziest shit when we were like playing. We're into gymnastics, so we'd get on the swing really high and backflip off of it and like land like gymnasts.
okay.
So we'd do like crazy things until people started talking in your ear like, oh, you can't do that.
You're gonna
You'll get
break your
hurt.
neck. You're gonna
do
break
that."
your neck.
And then it gets in your brain and you're like, oh shit, I could really hurt myself. And the last time I tried to do it, I like scraped my head on the ground and it was pretty bad. But like until someone was like, oh, that's really hard or dangerous, I didn't even second guess it. I just did it like that.
I'm so glad I grew up with imaginary earplugs. I just heard nothing my parents told me, or I just, selectively don't remember any of the rules or groundings or anything because I'm just on my own wavelength.
Yeah, and we could.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll just drop that one.
Hi, Mom.
We'll go right into
She
what
loves
were you
me.
going to say?
Well, I was going to say what's even more fascinating about that is what comes up in your head is just a thought.
Yeah.
And it's fear, right? It's fear most of the time.
Well, yeah, but you know what fear is? Is when you create a thought.
Bullshit.
When you create a thought out of thin air,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then you forget you created it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's like drawing a picture of a monster and forgetting you drew it and then looking at
you're
your
like,
wall and freaking out all night.
Oh my God.
Like what you just said was like a thought came up. Now, if you can get and prove to yourself that your thoughts are like passing clouds and you're the sky, that you're just the space that these thoughts showed up in, you will be totally free. This sounds corny, but I wake up every morning and I sit and I close my eyes for an hour. It's not meditating. It's not, you got to say Om. I just sit. And there's nothing that doesn't sit with its eyes closed that doesn't totally evolve. Nelson Mandela went to prison 27 years, became the president, right? So if you just sit and you allow, what happens is all these thoughts show up and they go, you know, God, I'm gonna do this 59 more minutes. Now who's talking? It's a thought that's basically taking your story of your past and it's saying this isn't true. Now, if you could just allow that thought to be there, our problem isn't the thought, it's the resistance to the thought.
Sure.
So
To the
if thought shows
reprogramming
up-
of that even being an inhibitor to our, moving past that thought.
Well, you're the space the thought's showing up in. So if the thought shows up and you just love it, it'll leave. If you go, what if I screw up? Cool. What if they don't like me? Awesome.
Yeah.
What if I totally screw up this first date? That'll be great. You suddenly free yourself from it. But if you go, what if I screw up? You just resisted your own thought, which is insanity. But that's what these thoughts have been put into us. And then we realize and believe that we're the thoughts. So we think who we are is this voice that says you can't do that. And then we believe it, resist ourselves.
Set up
and
for
that's
failure.
the
Set up for
problem.
failure.
But if you could love the thoughts and allow the thoughts to just show up and you just be like cool with them,
Yes.
they leave. But you have to actually grow to a place of becoming a space of love that's so big that the thoughts leave.
That's
and
why-
that's how you have a good relationship.
Okay, cool.
Because if you do it with your thoughts,
Right? Amen to that.
Hey!
But isn't that true though? How some people love rejection or they hate rejection, and the people who love rejection are the ones that are most likely to succeed because they can embrace that.
wall to wall,
They're like,
because it's not the thought.
don't tell me
It's not
no.
the rejection. It's your it's your resistance to it.
Sure.
I know a guy who says he has a game with his friend. They say, how many no's can we get a day? They ask out like 100 people and go to different things. Like they're so successful.
That's like
Oh,
the
wow.
Stephen King story. You
Almost
remember
everybody
the
says
Stephen King
yes.
story?
No.
With he had a nail on his wall, and every rejection letter that he got, he just posted them until the nail was completely full to the wall.
As big as
flush.
his books.
Big as it is.
900 pages.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great story.
Interesting. That's cool. So we're getting close. We got about 10 more minutes. So do you guys have any closing thoughts? Anything that you guys really wanted to get out that was like, kind of burgeoning up inside you? Burgeoning?
They're in the moment, so
Yeah.
there are no
they're in the-
burdens right now. There's only fun and love.
No,
and
it's called like
happiness.
burgeoning.
Burgundy.
Like
What?
like what the fuck is that word? Sorry guys. I'm having a moment, okay guys? You don't get it.
It's actually my fault because we've been editing around the clock for the last, I don't know how long. It's been 3 months straight.
This
so
stuff's gonna
if there's
be
any
funny.
tongue ties going on over there, it's my fault.
Yeah, I just get to watch.
Sarah, no.
Whoa.
Oh wait, did that sound bad? I don't
That
know.
sounded really bad.
Sorry.
Wait, what?
Episode
But I
62.
loved it.
Now
I
we're
was
on
okay with it.
63. I don't
I
even know
just
what I
fell in
said.
love
I'll
with
know
it.
it in a couple hours.
We're gonna find this out tonight.
Maybe not.
What's going on here?
Okay.
I'm just allowing all of it.
It's just
I'm just like, okay, that's
Just
supposed
embrace
to
it,
happen.
just allow
'cause
it,
it
just
did.
let
Just
it go, let
happening.
it
It's just
flow.
happening over and over.
Social media, let's talk about where we can find you guys and what you guys are working on
Awesome.
next and that kind of stuff. Start with you, Kyle.
Me?
Oh,
Okay.
you have more shit than I.
Well, so we're doing these amazing events now, and they're called Evolving Out Loud. The last one we did was 1,400 people. We have another one coming up at the Alex Theater in Glendale at the end of January. It's
Hey.
already almost sold out, and we're about to do a 5-city tour: New York, Chicago, Phoenix, Seattle. We're about to announce everything. We also have a ton of online stuff on how to let go of your fears, how to let go of your stuff. I have a product called The Entrepreneurial Shift, which is a 21-day video series on how, if you want to take your business through the roof by moving it from your head to your heart. You can go to Facebook and see me. There's a Twitter account. I did movies, 10 Things I Hate About You, Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh,
and
wow,
I had
okay.
2 Comedy Central specials. There's
Love
over
it.
100 videos online. Just Kyle Cease, CEASE. Add me to your Facebook, and I respond to every email. And go to evolvingoutloud.com if you want to
You
get tickets
respond
to the
every
event.
email.
Cool.
That's
Wait,
a
what
lot
was the
of
last one? Go to
emails.
what? If you want to.
evolvingoutloud.com
Got it.
is where they can get tickets to the event. And it's 2 days completely well lived, where you don't just sit there on your Facebook and scroll all day. You actually learn how to immerse yourself in your creativity, play, connect with other people in that same place. And so many lives have changed from this, from people letting go of what they aren't to make room for what they are supposed to become.
Put down the frickin' phone. Go to that shit.
Cool. And what's the price point on that?
Believe it or not, like, we usually have them for $500 a ticket, but right now it's $99 a ticket. And you
okay.
also can get the video series of the last one with it. And every event is completely different because it's all in the moment. So,
$99, change your life, or join a gym, change your fucking life.
yeah, you'll go to the gym anyway.
It's like the inner
you
gym.
know? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like the inner gym.
It's funny you say that, because so many people think the way to change your body is the method. Like, we have P90X and Insanity and all these things, yet people are getting fatter.
I make fun of this constantly, so every time I say something that's fitness related, it's like,
Yeah,
So,
but those are just methods, and we got to figure out what in us is blocking ourselves from working out and eating healthy versus
Not even just that though. I feel like more people are more concerned about changing their outside and not the inside.
Right.
because it's
And
going to
like,
make the
we're
inside
so
different if
shitty
you have the
anyway.
outside
Yeah,
different.
and
It
I've-
doesn't work. It doesn't work.
I've mentioned
Yeah.
it quite a bit that one of the first places that people go with self-development is the gym.
Yeah.
And kind of that, I feel like, I don't feel like that's a mistake, but it's kind of like
It's a little ass backwards.
it's not,
Well, you
it's not
actually
even,
can't lose weight that easily when you're against yourself.
Yes.
When you're not liking yourself, your body's releasing cortisol. So if you're sitting here going, I got to get fit so people will like me, you're saying, I don't like myself.
Yes.
So you stress and release more fat.
So mind over
yeah.
matter is very important. I'm a huge believer
Super
in mind
bad.
over matter. You have to be in the right mindset to have the matter. Follow your mind.
I
your
think
heart,
more
and
people
all of
say
it.
counseling too, but the states have made it like it was like it's so taboo. Like, oh, you're talking to a shrink, and it's like, no, go.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of that's Freudian undirected therapy. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, just keep talking, and if you talk out your problem long enough, you'll figure it out on your own. Like,
I think it's better than pills though.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
No
I hate,
pills.
Like people,
Nope.
I used to have a roommate that like he thought he was chemically imbalanced by some therapist, and so he'd constantly take all these pills. And I tried to help him, but he just didn't want help. He was one of those people like. Just,
I think that
That's-
it all
that's a
stems
tough
from
one.
like we go right back to it. You know, find your truth and stuff, and really like confronting who you are, what you want, and I mean,
he was too scared.
when people go into self-development, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna get in shape, and it's a very cosmetic band-aid. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna get in shape and I'm gonna feel better, and then they do, you know, their endorphins, they start feeling better, but
But
nothing's.
Band-Aid, you hit the nail on the head. Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
on a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
It might change a little bit.
That
You know, you
song.
start feeling better about yourself, and then it gives you an excuse to start being more confident, and that confident leads to what else can I conquer? What else can I achieve? What else can I accomplish? And it's good, but like, you know, it to me it's a very low level mindset to just stay in fitness and be. I'm a fitness fanatic, and therefore my development is at its peak. And
It's not
like,
a permanent suture.
It's something that it's meant to be a platform. You know, you go from I'm unhappy to now I'm fit and in shape, and now I have the ability to actually feel and go out there and do, and then you start working on, you know, the emotional stuff. I would even say that the emotional stuff is more important.
Definitely.
I agree.
Definitely.
I've met people who were they looked like they'd never touched a weight in their life, but they were happy and they
Yep.
were making moves and they were getting whatever they wanted in
They
their
were getting
life.
out there. They were making moves.
Yeah,
DeAndre
and
just
it's-
came out there a little bit.
I want to sing, I want to dance.
Make
I just
moves.
want to get out there. I want to make my moves. So me and Sarah have a comedy
Please,
show.
that's for
we
another.
play 3 different characters, and I actually had. So if you actually go back several shows, we actually did an interview with
We
some of
did.
those characters.
Scotty, DeAndre, and Jerome came out. But wait, Tiffany needs to announce what
Yes,
she's doing.
yes. So
Okay,
let's get
well,
your.
I'm just doing shoots now. Basically, I model now too.
Girl, no, not just. You're doing shoots. You're doing shoots. Awesome. Own that.
And you can find me on Instagram, Tyffanee_Smith, TYFFANEE. And you can find me on Facebook same way. So
Okay.
that's about it. I don't do Twitter and all that nonsense. I like try to keep it.
Twitter's a great platform. I didn't
think
realize
so?
how great as a promotional platform it is.
I am not a big Twitter person
I
myself.
think like, I'm pooping.
And depending who comes up, right?
Tweet
It's
that.
I'm Twittering.
Just
I'm
wanted to
Twittering.
fill you guys in.
Wouldn't it be weird if that was like everyone's newsfeed? Like just you just look into 25 of them.
Sorry, I just Twittered.
I like that.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. Actually, you can find us at Methodology of the Modern Male. You can find us at modernmaleinc.com/radio. You can find us on Instagram at modern.male. You can find us on Facebook at Jerod Zavistoski, Modern Male. I mean, like, just Google Modern
Just
Male. You'll find
freaking
us.
Google that.
We're
Google
all
me
over the
too.
internet.
No.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, Google and follow, guys. Come on. And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe below for more awesome videos.
Google
and we
this
are
guy, too.
developing another channel. It's hilarious. It's going to be funny, guys. So cool. Anything else, Sarah?
Coming at you hot.
Okay.
It was fun.
Always.
You
Happening.
guys. What a good flowing talk.
We had
was
some
good,
flow
right?
there.
Yeah.
We're in the moment.
It's so nice because usually they're so pre-programmed. Like, you have any pets? Like, oh,
yeah,
shut
hold
up.
on. Let me read
We're
from my
so
list of questions.
we're so unprogrammed that like
That's
we
what it
stopped
needs to
doing
be.
questions. I wouldn't even talk to guests before the show. I'd literally be like, hey, how are you? And then they'd be like, oh, hi.
That's how I
Save
was
it.
tonight. They were
Save
probably
it.
like, who's this bitch in the burgundy shirt and the slut boots? But hi.
Hey, I
Nobody
love
can
those
see your boots,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
It's okay. They
Nobody
will.
cares about your boots.
The
Take the
boots are
pictures
sexy.
right now.
I care about
Thank
them.
you.
They're
I was
hot.
worried about him the whole time.
Right?
Nobody
Get
cares
the
about the-
sluts point out, but her boots.
True.
No, nobody cares about the boots with that skirt on.
See, I like to throw people
That's
off
true.
from the outside in. So this does not represent what's going on in here.
What you mean by that?
All right.
That sounded backwards.
I mean, so I have slut boots on and I'm not a slut. Thanks.
Oh,
There you go.
okay. Yeah, well, I look like a whore too. Well, come on.
I love where this is going. I love where this is going. We saved it till the end,
I'm
guys.
like the biggest prude ever.
Save
Like,
the
oh,
best
you
for
got this out.
No butt plugs involved.
Okay, so
Just
yeah,
kidding, not a
I'm gonna say. Well, speaking of prude, I saw that was funny because the picture that reminded me to book you on
Oh,
the show was
no.
that breaking the internet photo of the two smiley faces. And it's literally like I'm scrolling through my newsfeed and I'm like, who is the softcore
Okay.
porn
I don't
star
know what they're talking
on my
about. I don't know.
Facebook?
Where is this?
I don't know what you're right.
I posted
Where?
a
What?
topless photo because it was really hot that day.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I put like little
TY.
smileys.
Yeah,
on-
yeah. Very.
I put little smileys on my nipples.
Those
So,
look
like,
fairly
So I'm just scrolling
insulated.
through,
Cut 'em
but like
out.
the way she cropped it and cut it out, it's like huge, it's massive. So I'm like, I'm coming through and it's just like, bam.
I
And
do
I was
that
like,
a lot too. Like I put winkies on my balls.
Yeah.
You know,
Can
just
you
to
send me
get
the
them.
unedited version
Yeah,
of that one?
yeah.
If you, my inbox was
I just send you
flooded
winkies.
with.
Wait, if your
I see
penis
that
is like the
unedited
hotel hairdryer, what are your balls like?
I get that a lot. I get that every Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday is balls question day.
Is
we
it?
do it from 7 to 9 p.m. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. 7 to
I'm
9
waiting.
p.m.
I'm waiting.
Balls
I'm
question
waiting.
day.
The outlet's right here, so I'm waiting for the balls answer.
And the number is somewhere down here, so you guys have questions about Kyle's balls. You can definitely call in right now.
We'll be taking
What
your.
do they
We'll be
smell
taking your
like?
balls. We'll be taking your balls from 7 to 9.
we'll be
Oh,
taking the
speaking
calls
of,
on
that's
balls.
a good little tip. A lot of guys don't think about this.
Your balls stink.
I can
No,
only imagine
you
what's
could
gonna come out of
definitely,
his
you
mouth
can
right now.
always spray just a little dab of cologne in there, put a little bit on your
That
hair.
is
There it
horrible.
is.
No,
There
no,
it
no.
is.
Because as your body aerates throughout the day, it's gonna make everything smell like it's good. People don't forget that like.
What if a spontaneous BJ was coming?
But
You
it
got
smells
cologne
good.
on your dick.
Well,
No, you
it's
just put it in your
a-
taint. You just put it in your taint.
Oh my god.
What if she's wild?
And she licks her taint.
What if her start is taint and she just goes, I just am allergic to cologne, here I go. And you're just like, wow, you shouldn't have said that because I'm going to feel guilty while you do
Okay,
this, but I'm
spray it
still
in your
gonna let you."
undies and not on your balls.
Yeah, that could work too. That could work too.
How about
I mean,
a 6-inch rule, no matter where it goes? And I'm not talking about a dirty
that's
one,
fine.
just
but
from far away.
it's like you say, Kyle, with the go with the flow. Maybe it was supposed to happen. Well, if she has an allergy to that, maybe she was supposed to lick your taint so that she ends up in the ER. So you guys have a story about how you
teach
met
her, yeah.
to get to give it to your kids.
Sure.
And she was really bad at giving head.
Super bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a slow graze with a sandpaper tongue.
Or you know what? You could just like not shave a small spot in your taint and just like that would be like the hairy
You
spot.
shave your
so
taint?
naturally that's the part that she's not. Yeah, of course.
This conversation happened.
You shave your taint.
I am very well groomed.
That's
This is modern male
But wait,
radio.
who even grows hair there?
I just clean everything up. I clean everything up.
Thanks for sharing.
There's,
Never
there-
hairy one.
Thanks for
Never
sharing.
hairy taint.
I don't even know what I have.
Take off your pants.
Well, look at the time. It's so weird.
Yeah, look at that.
I have
Look
to
at
leave
that.
all of us.
that-
I'm having so much fun, but Kyle has to be out of here.
I do have to be out of here. I'm
Okay,
meeting
so
a friend.
that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Modern Male Radio.
That went off.
You're listening to Modern Male Radio with Jerod Zavistoski, right here on LA Talk Radio.